All right, guys, welcome back to the Gamers Lounge. Make sure you follow us at the Gamers Lounge TV on Twitter or check out thegamerslounge.com. You can find all of our links. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Twitch, we have everything. YouTube, subscribe. And all right, so the last episode we were talking about breakups. Speaking of breakups, I think even bigger breakup than the T. Martin or the Nate Shot girlfriend breakup was Wings breaking up with PKA, getting dropped. That was a big drama going on. Of course, they did the whole survival trip. Did you watch the videos for the survival trip? Do you know what was going on with that, or do you watch PKA?
I see. Here's the thing with PKA, and hold on to your horses for this one. I'm a big fan of a lot of people that pretty much have arguments with Woodysgamertag. I mean, I did follow him for a while, and I do like some of the segments he did on his show. But at the same time, when that whole... Do you remember the whole issue with El Presador making that statement regarding Woody's, his son? Because his son is... I think his son's autistic, from what I recall. And his son was, I guess, because of the fact that his podcast or whatever he was showing was live... Well, the son did an interaction with the dog, and El Prez happened to make a statement on it in one of Thunder's videos. Well, after that, Woody made a big stink out of it. He contacted Thunder, demanded that the video would be taken down, and they just got into this whole big, like, it was, honestly, I think a simple DM would have sufficed, and that would have been that, but... You know, Thunder, that's why Thunder now, he's kind of been on hiatus. You know, I happened to speak to him the other day, but with PKA, the reason why I stopped watching it, because I'm a big fan of Thunder. I like what he stands for. I like his channel. And what was funny about it was that Woody's Gamertag initiated this, but Thunder ended up succeeding more because his channel has blown up significantly. I mean, if you don't know who Thunder is, you know, because he is, like, to me, he's the face of COD. How many people you know, and this was in the Black Ops 2 era, can start, like, he started, I don't even, let me see if I can find the word. He started a motion, if you will, like, TDM 150 was huge. You know, how does one person start a trend to where the developers make a new game type because of the fact you requested it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I go as far as saying he's the face of COD. I mean, I love Thunder. I like his videos.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely hates, you know, a lot on... I mean, if he doesn't like the game, if he doesn't get a good spawn, if he doesn't, you know, as far as that goes, he'll voice his opinion either way. But I think his videos are entertaining, and I enjoy watching him. I'm sub to him and everything like that. Right. As far as Woody's Gamertag, I kind of don't know why he gets so much hate. I mean, I know he's got like a bunch of hate from Drama Alert, you know, right. Keemstar's always, you know, going back and forth, you know. I mean, and I don't know why so many people, you know, don't like Woody's Gamertag. I mean, I think a lot of his videos are entertaining. I honestly, the only thing that I don't like about it is that he built this giant channel to, what, 1.3 million subs, and it was COD based. And then... You know, he spent all his time, like, he had really good series, and not just like on the COD, but then he also made it a little different by doing, you know, like his Tech Tuesday and things, because I mean, he worked for Cisco. I mean, you know, he has knowledge on that kind of thing, and he would make these videos that were different, that were, you know, they taught you something, but they were also like entertaining, you know, and I really liked his Tech Tuesdays and stuff. But then he like overnight went to, you know, 95% Minecraft server, and it was like, hey, join my Minecraft server, hey, join this, you know, blah blah blah. PKA became woodycraft.net advertisements for 4 hours, you know. And for me, I was like, okay, that's cool if you want to play Minecraft, and that's cool if you don't like Ghost, but if you're going to take this channel that was all about COD and not do COD, then it's like, okay, why don't you just make a second channel and play Minecraft? Because nobody's going to watch, or not nobody, but people are not going to watch, majority of the people are not going to watch Minecraft videos if they subscribe to a Call of Duty channel.
Yeah, that's... See,
And that's what made me so frustrated. And then it became to a point where he made a video and he's like, okay, well, I'm getting rid of all of these shows. I'm not going to do the Tech Tuesday. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm only going to keep PKA, and I'm only going to keep Mail Monday.
Yeah, Mail Monday I liked because when he broke down, like, I remember this one episode, or this one, I guess, video for that matter. There was a younger gentleman, and he asked him for advice because I guess the guy had broke up with his girlfriend or whatever the case may be, you know, but the guy was contemplating suicide. And Matt, go figure, his gamer tag name is Matt, when he, you know, he broke down the letter because he actually posted it.
I think I remember that episode, actually.
Yeah, it was, the map was unhijacked, and he had posted his response to it, and he broke it down, and I was like, wow, like, that's a truthful response. Like, he told me, he's like, you know, relationships come and go, you seem young, you seem healthy, you know, just try to deal with it in stride as best you can, and before you know it, you'll meet someone else, you know, you'll move on, you'll learn from your mistakes. And you know what, for that I commended him, because that was a realistic response. You know, I kind of took, when I see some of these videos, I kind of put myself in their shoes, so to speak. So if I was sending you, let's say if you were Woody's Gamertag, and I'm sending you a question regarding an issue that I have, and if that's the response you give me, I'm okay with that, you know, because it was a really truthful response. Like, he told him what he needed to hear, vice what he wanted to hear, you know?
Well, and I think that's one thing with Woody's Gamertag is the fact that, like, he really tries to help out, you know? Like, he tries to give you genuinely good advice. And most of his people, you know, are probably younger kids, but, I mean, that's every YouTuber has that, you know, and most of the people that are going to ask for advice, like me or you, most likely is not going to take and ask for advice on how to say hello to a girl. Now, a 12-year-old who's going through middle school or whatever and has never had a girlfriend may be like, you know what, hey, I'm gonna, you know, this is something that I don't want to, you know, put my face onto it, but, you know, maybe I can ask this. And I think, you know, video games in general always are going to cater to a younger generation. So, of course, he's going to have younger subscribers. I mean, I think the older subscribers like me, you know, people of our age, we're going to subscribe to Tech Tuesday. We're going to subscribe to the other shows that he had because it catered more to, you know, us. Right. Versus, you know, like how to say hello to a girl doesn't cater to us, you know. So I mean, and it's like everyone's like, oh well, he's a pedophile or he's, you know, going after 12-year-old boys. Like I just think like that part, it's like no, but like that part kind of frustrates me. And I don't know, maybe it's because, you know, he was one of the first people that I really started watching on YouTube, right. You know, back in Modern Warfare 2 and stuff. Him and Wings, you know, like. I mean, I watched a lot of Wings videos, you know, because I thought it was very informative on Modern Warfare 2 and things like that. And Wings Woody just gets so much hate, you know, and even he says it. He's like, okay, they do a podcast, PKA. Obviously, everyone's heard of it. It's huge. And if anything goes wrong, he gets more hate than anyone.
Well, his thing, see, here's the reason why, at least I feel this is the reason why he gets the hate. You know, from what I recall, it's him, it's, you know, Woody, was it FPS Kyle? You have
FPS Kyle, you got
Lefty, and it was Wings of Redemption. Those were the four. And from what I recall, from when I first started watching it, all four of them, did they begin the show? Like, did they all create it together, or was it just like Wings and Woody, and then they just brought them two on?
No,
later?
Actually, Wings posted a video of how they came up with PK. It actually started with Wings and FPS Kyle.
Okay. See, I didn't
know
that.
Woody wasn't even involved with it to begin with.
Wow.
He was going to be a guest. They were like, you know, because this is back at the time when, you know, Woody only had, I think, like 8,000 subscribers or something like that, you know. Okay. And so they came up with this idea, you know, and Wings actually came up with PKA already. Like, he's the one that actually came up with the name. and it was going to be him and Kyle, and then they ended up bringing Woody, and they brought this before Lefty was there. They actually brought this other guy. I can't think of his name right now. Something. It was like a country name, some country guy or something. But I guess he was getting hammered at like every show to the point where like he didn't even know what he was doing. So they ended up replacing him, and I imagine that's where Lefty came in. I don't know if there was a transition or whatnot, but originally it was started with Wings, and with PKA, I mean I've been watching it for probably the last year or so. I've been really watching PKA. I enjoy it. I mean I can't sit down and spend 4 hours watching the entire thing, but I watch it in segments or whatever. But I mean, I think the show is good. I mean, they do some really funny stuff, like the prank calls and stuff are really funny. And this survival trip, I mean, it was funny. Like, it's something that's like they said, okay, we're gonna go out in the woods. We're gonna bring one set of clothes. We're gonna bring a water filter just because they were gonna have to drink from the river or whatever. But they basically brought very limited supplies and went out to the woods. I mean, they parked the car, went about 2 hours into the woods with a backpack full of stuff, and we're going to survive. No food for 5 days. I mean, they literally had to catch food. They had to make a shelter. It was going to be it was like 30 degrees, and it was a severe thunderstorm. So it possibly could have snowed. Like, it's not just they were, going to be sitting at, a hotel with no food for 5 days. I mean, it was going to take a lot, and I was really excited about it. And basically, just to sum up the whole, in case you didn't get to see the videos, but they posted a lot of videos of them, building shelter, and Wings ended up backing out the night before. So they were supposed to meet. They were at like 8 or 9 o'clock. I think it was in Georgia, North Carolina, somewhere. I forget where it was, some woods. And 10 o'clock at night, I think it was Kyle sent Wings a text about something, and he just flat out said, "I'm not going." This was the night before.
Wow. See, I remember seeing that video with Wings, and he explained as to why, but knowing it's the night before and everybody's like, oh, we're all set up, ready to go, for him to back out, it's like I noticed with him, he feels like his channel's dying. And you know what? In his eyes and many other people's eyes, it just may. But that's where you adapt, that's where you evolve, and that's where you make the change to the growing times.
And this could have been a great thing for his channel.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're right. It may have been a great thing for his channel.
If he would have stayed for an hour, it would at least show that he went there. And he was talking about that the drive there and how much money it was going to cost, and he didn't have videos prepared. And I see two sides. One, you never should ask a 400-pound man to go into the woods for 5 days with no food and no camping experience or anything. I mean, he should have declined way before that.
True.
And
no,
because Lefty did. Like, Lefty flat out said, "No, I'm not doing that." Like, and no one gave him crap. He didn't lose subscribers. Nothing happened. He just said, "I'm not going to do that."
See, at least with him, he was truthful with it. He was like, all right, this is something I physically can't do, or maybe he just doesn't have survival tips, for that. But with Wings, I've noticed lately he's all about the social media. He's on Facebook, he's on Twitter, he does YouTube.
He doesn't even have his own Twitter. He doesn't have access to it.
Well, lately there's been a lot of posts on his behalf on Twitter, so I don't know if it's...
Lefty controls his Twitter.
So Lefty's the one running now. See, I didn't know.
I think it's Lefty. Lefty.
But what I've noticed on his Facebook, he gave an explanation as to why he didn't attend the trip, and I was just like, wow, like, why didn't you just say that earlier? Because I've read the comments, and that's one thing I'll definitely do. If people post that, I'll always read the comments to see what kind of feedback they're getting. And a majority of the comments that were posted were truthful. They were, one guy was like, thank you very much for clarifying this, because I'm a loyal fan. I've been with you since you had 10,000 subs. I mean, this guy pretty much broke it down. He was like, thank you for clarifying this, Wings. Good luck with keeping your channel up. We're sorry you got kicked off PKA, but you'll bounce back from this. You know, that's a loyal fan. And, you know, that's the kind of stuff that he needs to hear right now. Because when people get that depressed, I hate to say it, I would hate for him, knock on wood, to, you know, God forbid, do something stupid. But people like that, when they post that cry for help, usually, God forbid, end up committing suicide. I'm hoping that's not the case for him. Because on another side note, the actor Jonathan Brandis. Well, he used to be on. I think it was Stargate, or there was a show that he was on. But he was an actor, and he had an issue like that where his girlfriend broke up with him. I think he lost a role for a movie. You know, he put out a cry for help, and people didn't believe him. And 2 days later, he committed suicide. So it's like, and this was in like the 90s. Like, he was in the second Neverending Story. Like, that's my movie that I remember him fondly from, you know, as growing up as a kid. But with Wings,
I think about that with Wings a lot, you know, like, you know, because he's so depressed and he's so overweight. I mean, he's doing great with the weight loss and stuff, but you know, he gets so much hate from so many people that it's just like, man, one of these days you're gonna see that video, and it's gonna come out, you know, and we all hope it doesn't happen, but it's like with Wings, I just don't understand. Like, he's really good at heart. Like, he wants to take and do good, you know, and then it's like he said it, he talks himself out of it. The second he saw them making the videos of them building shelter, you know, because they started, you know, putting sticks together to build a shelter and stuff. The second he saw it, he wanted to be there. I think people watching the video, like I saw it, I was like, man, I want to do this, you know, and I think he felt really bad that he did it. And then what made it worse was that, I don't know if you know what ended up happening, but basically it was the first night they you know, started building their shelter. They took out 30 trees with like a manual saw. Like, they had no chainsaw and stuff, but they're trying to build this. And the structure was actually, it was really good. And so they have to work on getting food, you know, because they had the shelter and the fire, you know. And Kyle ended up going after a turtle. And I think he said he shot it or something like that, and he had to get into the river. And then later on, like 30 minutes, an hour later, whatever, he just started vomiting everywhere. Like, it was just continuous. Wow. Like, he just could not stop vomiting. And even at night, like when they were laying there, he would just wake up and vomit, wake up and vomit. And, you know, so Woody was like, do you want to go home? And he's like, yeah, there was a big rainstorm coming. And he's like, you know, so, but he couldn't control it all the way back to the car. He was just vomiting. They think what happened is, while he was in the river, he probably swallowed some water unintentionally, because they had the filter. He wasn't drinking it, but it either got into, you know, a cut or drank, you know, some of it, and there's a bacteria infection. But the whole thing was over in not even a day. Like, they didn't even make it a day. And especially for Wings, it's like, man, if you just would have showed up, you wouldn't have even had to go 5 days. People would have thought you were a hero. And he made it seem like people wanted him to go just to fail. Yes, nobody looked at it like, oh man, I really hope Woody can make it. You know, I hope he can survive. I hope he, you know, people knew Woody's going to survive. Kyle's going to survive. Woody's going to struggle. He's a 400-pound man. He doesn't have the same physical, you know, stability, and, you know, of course, like you expect that, you know, that's going to happen. But it's just like, man, you only would have had to go a few hours, and people would have never like been like, God dang, this 400-pound man just went into the woods and said, you know what, I don't even care, even if it was all fake. Right. At least it would have been huge for his channel.
Yeah, what would have been nice if he would have just not even spend the night. Let's say, okay, they say they started at noon, all right? Let's say he shows up at around 3 or 4, he stays till like midnight. You know what? I do agree with you, but that would have been, I think it would have been good for his channel, but also at the same time it would have been bad, because a lot of people sub to him, and I've noticed this over the past year or two. A lot of people sub to him to kind of hate on him, like they want to see him fall, and that's, you know, whatever people do, and this is just my opinion, whatever you want to do on that, that's on you. But if you want to sub to somebody and you want to see them fail, what's wrong with you? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, people do that every day, and it's just like, wow, like, that's what the community has come down to. Even if he would have shown up,
that's the attitude he portrays. Like, he posts videos of him failing. Like, it's like he wants to do it, but he already assumes that he's going to fail. It's like the whole weight loss thing. I mean, it took him like, he was like, okay, I'm going to go to what was it, Kyle's house for a boot camp for 30 days, and strict. I mean, he couldn't eat what he wanted. I mean, they made him eat what they had, and that's what he had to work out every day. And then it's like he wants to quit and leave, you know. And so many times he quits himself, and people just assume that he's going to quit. I honestly thought, okay, the first person that would quit the survival trip would be Wings, but I at least thought he would show up.
Right.
I mean, I was really shocked that he didn't show up. That to me was just, you know. But then, even if he doesn't show up, and it seemed like Woody made a video when he came back and he kind of addressed it, you know, but it didn't seem like there was bad blood. Like, he pretty much was like, I kind of thought this from Wings. This is what we expect from Wings. Like, they know that that's the type of person, you know, like, he's canceled on things before, but to kick him off the show, I honestly think it's going to really hurt PKA, because people tune in to PKA to hear these crazy things that he's going to say, these, you know, these stories that he's going to tell. And, you know, when you listen to the montages of the little audio clips that they throw together, it's mostly Wings making a fool of himself, but that's what people show up for. And now, I don't know. I'm curious to see what's going to kind of happen, you know, over this show now. I don't think it's going to be the same.
Well, for me, I think they'll find someone else, but at the same time, it's not going to have that lasting effect. You know, especially the fact that it was like, I didn't know that it was Wings who initially started PKA. I mean, what was it? Was it Keemstar? Someone posted a few days ago about, or it might have been you actually, regarding to sponsor the show, something along the lines of $1,500. I was just like, when I saw that, I was like, what? Like, you know, because I follow.
No, what it was is Keemstar wanted to do an interview with Wings.
Okay.
And Wings said, "I'll do it for $10,000." This is coming from the Drama Alert tweets. I don't know. It wasn't actually from Wings. But he responded with, "Sorry, Wings, you've never been worth more than $1,000 for an interview." So that was kind of where that started. Like,
okay,
he was saying that you ain't worth $1,000 and you're asking for $10,000, and that's kind of where that started.
Yeah, because when I saw that, I was just like, damn, like, that's what it's coming down to. Because, you know, like I said, when I first,
you can get an ad on Drama Alert for $50.
Huh.
He posted it already. It's $50.
Damn.
I almost wanted to sponsor it just to like put something funny up there, you know, like.
Yeah, because with what is it, Lag Comp podcast, the one that Frito and Eddie does, I was a sponsor on his show one day, and it was only $5. You know what? It was cool, just the way he presented it and the way he went about it. But with, you know, back to what I was saying with Wings on PKA, like, it's definitely gonna be a different show, and based on the fact that it happened as quickly as it did, I think a lot of people are gonna watch to see what happens, not only with Wings but with the way PKA turns out. Because when I first started watching it, I remember the first time I watched it, I want to say it was under 3 hours. It was about 2 hours and 20 something minutes. And up until recently, the last one I saw was just about 4 hours, and it was actually
probably
a
run
really
about
good
4
show.
hours.
Yeah, it was definitely a really good show. But let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with our remaining thoughts on this topic.